Greg, in terms of asbestos exposure, and we've talked about children, and we've talked about maybe wives or spouses,
Sure.
Husbands who've been secondarily exposed. All right, explain just a little bit, or talk just a little bit more about the length of time that one could be exposed. We were talking off air about you had a friend who was exposed for only a couple of weeks, or a summer, or a couple of weeks, or
yeah, only for one summer. Or one summer, I had a good friend who was a lawyer actually, who was exposed to asbestos, and here recently, within the last year or so, died of mesothelioma. So asbestos is very, very potent. Okay, with respect to the ability for it to cause a cancer, is pretty common. Okay.
And explain to our viewers what asbestos is in terms of how it affects the lungs. I know we've talked about scarring,
Sure.
and that sort of thing, but will you just kind of give the viewers a visual of what it does to your lungs?
Sure. It's if you think of asbestos as a small little needle, okay, that when you inhale it, it just lodges itself in different areas of your lung walls. And over time, you get scarring from the fact that your lungs are trying to dispel the actual fiber. But what actually happens is causes a stiffening of the lung, because the walls of the lungs become thick. Okay, so over time, it causes you to have a more difficult time to breathe, and there have been situations where people have actually suffocated from being exposed to asbestos.
Wow.
How important is it, you mentioned about acting quickly on it, but how important is it to have an attorney like yourself that's really has a lot of knowledge regarding this to help you out?
It's, doing asbestos litigation is a fairly unique area of practicing law. Myself, I have a fairly solid background in the world of science, understanding how a person could, suffer from a condition that essentially requires a scientific understanding. But there are a number of lawyers around here who at least understand how it works. But believe it or not, most of those guys contact me though when they have a case like this. So.